Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. It is Thursday, May 21st, 2015, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Well, we're going to get right into the news tonight. I want to talk about Rand Paul's filibuster. Well, it wasn't technically a filibuster. It ended right before midnight, and the reauthorization of the Patriot Act wasn't actually up for a vote. However, he did commandeer the Senate for about 10 hours, reminding us that the Patriot Act can scoop up a lot more than just our metadata. Now, he made some very good points there as he stalled the debate on reauthorization of the Patriot Act. One, the NSA can use the Patriot Act to collect in bulk a lot more than just phone records. Now, the controversy is over Section 215 of the Patriot Act, which is what the NSA uses to collect massive amounts of phone metadata. But Democrat Ron Wyden also joined Senator Paul, and he wanted to remind everyone that the NSA can basically use Section 215 to turn all of our phones into tracking devices 24 hours a day. And he also strongly suggested that the agency would be able to collect in bulk millions of innocent Americans' credit card records, medical records, financial and bank records, gun records, and they're going to use Section 215 to do all of that as well. Now, he also pointed out that the USA Freedom Act doesn't cover everything. Now, the USA Freedom Act is legislation that was passed by the House just last week, and it would replace bulk collection with a system that would search the data held by telephone companies on a case-by-case basis. Now, Paul kept bringing up the FISA Amendments Act, which allows officials to collect material including search history, the content of emails, file transfers, and live chats. And the NSA also abuses this same law to scan large portions of emails coming in and out of the U.S. And the USA Freedom Act also doesn't touch Executive Order 12333, which governs how the NSA can collect supposedly purely overseas communication. Now, he also said NSA surveillance is used for a lot more than just terrorism cases. We've pointed this out plenty of times. There's a little-sided technique known as parallel construction, where the Drug Enforcement Administration is getting wiretaps from the NSA and then hands over that information to local cops. And we already know all about the fusion centers that are all over the country. Paul also points out how using the Patriot Act for mass surveillance is illegal no matter what Congress does. Just 2 weeks ago, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that it was illegal for the NSA to use the law to conduct mass surveillance at all. So Paul kept bringing up the fact, why is Congress even considering renewing an authority for a program that would be illegal for the NSA to continue anyway? Absolutely absurd. And then lastly, he said that there are plenty of other civil liberties concerns that Congress has yet to deal with. Obviously, there's a number of other controversial practices. One is known as sneak and peek warrants. These are court orders that allow law enforcement officers to essentially break into suspects' homes without their knowledge. These were sold as being needed for terrorism, but they were used in more than 99% of the time in drug cases. And also, there is the little tool being used by law enforcement, civil asset forfeiture.
Mr. Ashcroft, would you mind answering one question? I'm from a local journalist about citizen asset forfeiture. Do you think it's fair about the civil asset forfeiture for people to have their assets taken away without being found guilty?
Well, it depends on what the charge is.
Well, what if they haven't been put to trial or anything? Do you think it's fair that hard-earned money, not put to trial in any way, shape, or form yet, be taken by law authorities?
I think you have to look at the Constitution to figure that out.
Okay, there are several states that just refused to repeal.
That's a public policy decision they've made.
Oh well,
you know, and they're entitled to make it. And so each state has the ability to do that, and that's one of the reasons that we have a federal system.
That's true. And where in the Constitution does it give the authority for police to take people's hard-earned money without a trial?
Well, you'd have to go to the variety of cases that have ruled on it.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new Infowars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfowarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.